Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of Crane Lake Stories. Appreciate you coming by again. Summer has obviously been a super busy time for everybody, especially those folks up in the Crane Lake area, people visiting, people working the livelihood of the resorts and marinas. So it's been a little bit of a challenge to get folks to come on, but we're lucky this week that we've got Joe and Alyssa Anderson, who recently did their first trip to the Crane Lake area. They are from Crystal, Minnesota, down in the northwest part of the cities. And Joe and Alyssa did the houseboat thing and rented a houseboat from Voyager and ventured off into the North Country. So Joe and Alyssa, thanks for coming on with us today.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's rewind just a little bit. You guys were up there in August. Where did the idea to do the houseboat thing come from, or what prompted you, or where did this crazy idea come from?
I think it was more or less seeing billboards on the way, like to and from maybe Brainerd. We saw some, and it just kind of stuck with us of some sort of vacation that we've never done before that sounded fun.
Yeah. And you guys have 3 kids. I would imagine when you told them you were going to go live on a boat for a few days, that was something they were pretty jacked about.
Yeah, they were excited. When we got there, they were not. I don't know. Sorry.
Were they a little apprehensive to go out on the boat, or?
Yeah, they were apprehensive. One of them was nervous because, how are we gonna be out on the water at night? What if there's a fire on it? What do we do? Just all kinds of questions. What if it sinks?
Yeah.
All the questions.
All the questions. And I think you said your kids are from ages 7 to 12. So understandable that they've got concerns with something that, a floating campground, if you will, that's going out into the wilderness.
Yeah. And I think they also, were expecting to be out on the water a lot, as we were too. But then we realized as we're out there, we ended up spending a lot more time actually pulled up and docked, and using the boat more as going from place to place and sleeping on. So,
yeah. So tell us about the trip. You guys left out of Voyager right there off the Gold Coast in Crane Lake. What did it look like from the time you guys got on the dock and threw your stuff on to where you went to?
Well, unfortunately, when we got there, it was raining. And it was supposed to rain the whole time we were there.
Oh, no.
So that was a little bit of a bummer, but we got all on the boat and started going, and the rain luckily died down, and it was beautiful, just lake and shore and, pine trees and
no people.
Yeah.
So the resort was super helpful on getting the van unpacked into the boat, which I appreciated, because I was like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? It's raining and these kids don't know what to do and they're not going to be helpful. But the guys took everything. I hardly had to carry anything. It was really nice.
Yeah.
And then once we got out on the water, I thought, oh, are we going to see a lot of other houseboats? But we hardly seen anybody. It was really nice.
And logistically, did you find it a challenge at all to kind of get going? You obviously went across Crane. You went into the King Williams Narrows, which is kind of that first little channel that goes up into Sandpoint, into the next lake. How far did you go? What was the whole getting used to just driving the houseboat? What was that all like?
The actual physical driving of it wasn't too bad. Luckily, they suggested we download an app on our phone before we left, had GPS and mapping. I can't remember exactly what the name of the app was, but super glad we had that, because otherwise I would have been really lost. But it was fun. Yeah.
Once you got going, did the kids, were they a little bit more excited then once you got out on the water and things were moving and you were kind of doing your thing?
Yeah, they were very excited.
Good. And so you went, I know you said you ultimately went up to Namakan. Did you get all the way up there the first night and then pull into a cove and kind of anchor and kind of base camp out of there?
The first night, I believe we just got slightly past the Narrows, the initial bit of Narrows, and then found a place, because we took off. We probably didn't get on the boat till about 4 or 5.
Okay.
So we didn't get up too far the first night.
Gotcha. And so talk about a little bit about that first night. I can imagine, coming from the Twin Cities, you've probably never seen a night sky as dark as that. Did the kids kind of take in the wilderness nature of the being that far away and stuff as well?
They really like being outside. So they really took advantage of the beach a lot, making sand castles. And if you dug down deep enough, we actually found clay. So they were making like clay castles, I guess, and stuff. So they thought that was pretty cool. And with the paddleboard that we brought, they're old enough, you strap on the life jackets, they could take it around the whole cove and kind of go about themselves.
Yeah.
They had a lot of fun.
So what did you have? Obviously you pulled a boat along, you had your paddleboard that you brought. Talk a little bit about some of the activities that you guys and the kids enjoyed besides, just the ones that you've mentioned so far.
Well, the houseboat had a slide on the back, which was pretty fun. So we used that pretty much every time we stopped, a few different times. There was also a hot tub on it, which we used. So that was super nice. We brought board games. We like playing board games, as a family. So when we were on the boat, a lot of board games, reading.
We attempted to fish.
Yeah.
With the fishing boat, but we're not avid fishermen.
No fish caught by us.
So. Gave it a shot though, right? When in Rome, right?
Yeah.
Good. What did you stay then? You said you went past the Narrows. How many different places did you guys go? I mean, how many days were you there? How many different places did you go and kind of beach up and set up for the night?
I think we were there 4 total nights and we stayed at 3 different spots, but a different spot each night. So on the way back, the night before we had to like return the boat, we ended up staying at the same spot where we stayed the first night.
Okay.
Just because we really liked it there. And we also knew it was somewhat close to get us back. So 3 different locations.
Yeah. And did the weather turn for you guys? Did you end up having nice weather?
It was good enough. It probably wasn't perfect, but we were expecting like it raining the whole time and it definitely didn't do that. So it was a little overcast most of the time, besides the day that we left. Okay. And it got super nice and sunny.
Of course, right? That's the way they tempt you into coming back again, for the next trip. You guys mentioned kind of off camera, you talked a little bit about the stars and sneaking out at night to look at that and how the kids were hard to wake up because I'm sure they were exhausted after a day of playing on the water and stuff. But talk a little bit about what that was like to see a night sky like you saw.
It was beautiful. It was just so dark. And then with a matter of minutes, we seen shooting stars, like 3 different shooting stars. And I think we both were kind of like, oh, it's so bright over there, like on the other side of the trees. When we were in bed, we realized it was the moon. It wasn't like the light from the cities, what we're used to.
Yeah.
It was the light from the moon. So that was kind of fun.
Very cool. Very cool. Did you get up, you said you got into Namakan. Did you get all the way up to Kettle Falls and see the hotel and stuff, or is that another trip?
We did not. So it'll have to be another trip.
Okay. Alyssa, I know you had kind of chuckled about that earlier. It's one of those kind of hidden spots back there that definitely I would recommend if you ever, if you guys do choose to go back again, it's really worth the trip, and to see something that's, the history of a place like that's just tucked back in the wilderness that, for 100 years ago, the trappers and everybody came to. It's pretty cool. Would you plan on going back again? Are there other things that you'd want to do besides maybe Kettle Falls and things to see again if you were to go back?
So if we went back, I guess because of the time that we went in the year, it was so much cooler that I think the bugs were not a big issue for us. So that was a big positive.
Yeah.
But I would want to try it when the weather is a lot nicer and warmer and we can enjoy the water a little bit better.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially with kids. I mean, the kids it could be 50 degrees and I'm sure they were all about that slide, and mom and dad are like, we'll be in the hot tub kind of thing. But
there's like Indian hieroglyphics and stuff right up there that I wanted to see, but we didn't write down where it is. So then we had no idea where to go.
Yeah.
for that. So I really that was the one thing I wanted to do, and we didn't get to that either.
Yeah, I think a lot for this trip being the first time up there and on the houseboat is on the maps when where they show like the different spots where you can pull up, like it looks nice and easy when you're looking on the map and you're driving around, you're like, is that a spot? Is that, I don't know. And so it took a little bit to be like, should I really be driving the boat this close and like pulling up here? And then you're like, it's okay.
Yeah, things definitely look the same. And you can look out there and see, 20 different islands, and they kind of all look the same. And you definitely need to pay close attention to the map. But it sounds like you guys would be pro, pro ship captains if you were to go back again and be able to experience those things. That's one of the things that as we bring people on with Crane Lake Stories and even tell the stories of all the things to do, it's like you really can only scratch the surface with your first trip. The other first time guests we've talked to on Crane Lake Stories or just in general have said, this time we came up to fish, but we'd really love to come and do this. Or there are just so many activities that I think, being in that part of the state is really unique to people, and hopefully, we'll make it a tradition to come back again.
Yeah. And I think even besides the different activities, just the peacefulness of it up there, like that was the best part, just quiet and, no cell phone coverage, which was really nice as well to get away from all that.
I think that's probably why we didn't almost care if we were doing what we intended to do or not, because I had him all to myself, no screen, whatsoever distracting him.
Yeah. Are your kids old enough that was a major adjustment for them, or are they, with 12-year-old being your oldest, probably
she doesn't
not
have a phone yet.
Okay.
So,
yeah, they don't have anything. So,
but they didn't seem to mind not a lot of times we'll watch TV in the evening or something, but they didn't bother them one bit.
Well, an experience that, we've talked to folks that have kids older than yours, myself included, that getting there, it is such a unique experience to kind of shut it off and just to turn it off and take in you get to know quiet like you don't know quiet when you're at home, and you get to know dark at night like if you live anywhere, south of there, it's really hard to describe to folks. So I'm glad you guys got a chance to enjoy that part of it.
Yeah.
Super. Well, hey, I really appreciate you guys coming on to share your first time experience up at Crane Lake with Voyager and the houseboat and all the adventures. And I know other people that have been there would definitely encourage you guys to come back again sometime. What would you, in kind of a parting comment, what would you share with somebody that was maybe thinking about a unique vacation experience next summer with their family?
Yes. Well,
I mean, would you recommend this to another young family as a unique vacation opportunity?
Yes. Yeah, I would definitely recommend this for someone else, for other families. There's a lot you can get out of it, whether you want to, bring another family with you and, or if you want to go alone with your own family, and then whether you want to take advantage of the trails or the waters or however you want to make your own vacation. There's a lot up there.
For sure. Awesome. Well, again, thank you guys for coming on to talk about your first time, and we appreciate the time and the opportunity that you guys had. Hopefully you'll come back and experience a little more of the Crane Lake area next time.
Yeah, we hope to. All right, thanks, Matt.
Thanks. Well, that's it for this week's edition of Crane Lake Stories. We appreciate Joe and Alyssa coming on to talk about their first experience in the Crane Lake area, bringing their young family up, taking a houseboat, and just going off and exploring and enjoying just a little bit of all of the great things that the Crane Lake area has in store for folks of all ages. So until next time, we'll see you again here on Crane Lake Stories.